barn down the road to come to our home shows. It's really busy in the summer, so the scheduling didn't work out, but it was all right because we had so many people come to our shows anyways. But I'm still going to keep offering the invitation for them to come. And we've been reviewing the cost of boarding and lessons. It's ongoing all the time, and our prices are very competitive compared to other barns in the area, and it's something that I continue to look at all the time. And we are doing a new event this February. I'm going to try to do a Valentine event and have a pony kissing booth where the kids can take pictures and then make Valentines for the horses. So it's hard to come up with really new ideas and events at the barn just because people the stuff that we do is successful. So I'm always trying to come up with something that's different. And then marketing-wise, I had a goal in 2015 of having apparel for the barn and updating our website. We did do an online store, which was very successful, and sold hoodies and T-shirts that had our logo, and one had like little horses jumping on it. And I also just processed another order for our barn jackets, which was just popular demand because I don't have it with me, but I put our person's name and then our logo across the back, and everybody wants them all the time. So I had already sold at least 60 jackets, and then I sold another 30 just because people were like, we want those. So I threw up a sign, and then they've been very popular. And as far as the website, we keep updating it. Like Corinne said, we're going to be redoing the whole Partnership website as it is. So then I'll also want to update my pages. And the neat thing though is that the trifolds and the flyers that we have for the barn, Corinne has changed it to include people that are participants and boarders at the barn. So then they see themselves on there, or they see people they know, which is awesome. And then my last slide would be my goals for this year. For the facility, I would like to rent at least 3 of those storage units and get the new pricing out there and see if I can draw people in with that cost savings that they'll have. We're also going to be updating, doing some renovations to our clubroom area. We kind of have like mismatched things out there, and our tables and chairs are kind of outdated, and so we're going to try to clean that area up a bit, and that's where we have summer camp and pony parties, and people just congregate in there from the barn. Goals for programming, I'm going to complete the boarding contract revisions and continue to review the boarding and lesson piece to make sure that they're maintaining profitability. I'm going to keep looking into new programs and offerings, and one thing I really want to do as well is restructure our volunteer program. We have a lot of kids interested in helping, and I need to make sure that that the people we hire to volunteer are actually beneficial, because everybody wants to help, but sometimes they're not that helpful. So we've got a job description made, and we just to make sure everyone's safe and getting along fine there. And then finally, the marketing. I want to keep making apparel items to sell. A lot of the kids that do the shows and all that, and the boarders as well, they'd like to have hats and other T-shirts and things. So I want to make at least 2 different apparel items to sell as well. So that's the conclusion of my presentation. Do you have any questions or anything?
I just want to say that over the holidays, my granddaughters were here from Boston, and they took pony rides and got to groom the horses, and the staff who helped obviously knew the animals well and treated my granddaughters really well, and were very accommodating. My whole family was there watching, we were like about 10 of us there staring at what was going on. So it was just a really good experience for the and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Everybody, it's been very busy, and I can't really pinpoint exactly where it came from. I feel like a lot of it's word of mouth, and just a lot of people will come in for birthdays, and then the kids that are in the parties will then want to come back for lessons, or it's been very busy.
Do you ever consider sponsorships for events in regards to like Marina and
like
supply?
Yeah, I think a while back we might have had I know I had somebody donate like a gift certificate future, but yeah, I haven't ever had anybody to sponsor. Yeah. Good. Thanks.
Next is committee comments. Capital and Development did not meet. Finance and Liability did not meet, but Personnel and Policy did meet. Commissioner Pauly, did you have any comments from the meeting?
Just that, we're voting on the fund balance and asset policy tonight, and it's been both through finance and personnel and policy. And we're beginning to work on the employee handbook, which the staff has been working on for some time now. So, that's our next project.
Thank you. Recreation and Marketing Committee did not meet, and Governance and Accountability Committee did not meet. Next is action items. Item A, Ordinance 2016-01, an ordinance for the combined annual budget and appropriation of the Plainfield Township Park District, Will and Kendall Counties, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2016, and ending December 31st, 2016.
As presented during the.
Okay. Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve ordinance 2016-01, the annual appropriation and budget ordinance for fiscal year 2016?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Ayers and seconded by Commissioner Newton. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, how much are we increasing the taxes?
The levy,
The levy tax?
I don't have that with me because when we went over the levy, I believe it was, our total increase was
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I apologize, I don't have that off the top of my head. It was what we increased the levy last year when we did the 2015 levy. I believe it came out to about a $3.30 per $250,000 home average.
On the previous budget, we had a surplus of 400,000, right?
On the fiscal year 2015A.
Yeah, the one which is going to be ordered on.
Okay, so that would be fiscal year 2015. So that would have been the audit we received back in the one we just audited. Okay, so the two budget, not the last budget, but the budget before that.
So if we had a 400,000 surplus, what would we do?
We transferred, we used some of that surplus to transfer.
No, the question is,
I'm sorry.
if we had a $400,000 surplus, why do we need to increase the levy?
We used that surplus to transfer into capital so we can continue.
No, I didn't ask you what you did with the 400,000.
Okay, well, I'm explaining, that's what, we do that with that, and then we continue to levy at our max so that we can continue going
Yeah,
towards our
but
capital.
why do I think levy our max? I mean,
Our max this year, I think our increase was 0.7.
right.
Was the
My
lowest.
question is,
Well, and that's what we presented to the board. We asked for the recommendation. The board was comfortable with the 0.7, and that's what we presented it
That was for the capital plan,
for the levy
so
last year.
the surplus that you're calling it went into the capital improvement plan?
no, I don't question where do we allocate the $400,000. I say,
Why did we
say that
increase
if we had a $400,000 surplus, why do we need to increase our levy? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, where the 400,000 went. I'm not questioning that. I just say, well, we have 400,000 surplus, why do we need to increase the levy?
I guess ultimately that's the board's overall philosophy. We presented the 0.7% increase, and we go, if the board wants us to hold still or keep it at, or maximize the increase or whatnot, ultimately we'll go at whatever direction the board would like us to.
Yeah, my concern is too, is increasing levies affecting the elderly in regards to set budgets and so forth. So especially in today's rates and so forth that's going on, family budgets.
When we go back to the
family
next year,
budgets are pretty tight.
Next year, we're doing the levy, we'll once again bring that up to when we're doing it in finance and liability, that's the first place we take the levy increase, we'll bring it up there again and ask for the direction.
I think that it's important, number one, that we keep a strong capital budget so that we can continue to improve where we need to. And I think our new master plan has shown us how much improvements we need to make. Secondly, I think that we are so underfunded compared to comparable park districts that we really do need to push our levy to the max. And I think it's important that if we're going to continue to grow, continue to provide more services, better services, including to our seniors, which I'm very active in, and I think how important it is to them, that we need to do what we can to fund the things that we want to provide for our community. It's not just we're gathering money so that we can give services. And I think it's important that we continue to not just maintain our parks or just, not let them slide, but improve and grow and get better. And I think in order to do that, we have to push them. And that's why I would vote, I did vote, and in the future would vote for us to push that levy
Yeah, I
amount.
understand the point. My point is, we're talking about senior citizens that, they have to fix it.
Understand, in that situation.
We have, we are increasing our levy, the school is increasing the levy, and I believe this, whoever uses the park should be able to pay for the service. I think it's not that we have to already take the money from the senior citizen, but they don't use the park as often than somebody else's company. And I think it's, if you use the park more often, you should be able to pay more. And that's why we have the fees for our use. But,
A lot of our park usage has no fees at all. In fact, most, you can go to any of our parks and not have to pay a fee.
well, I'm talking about the program.
Well, the entry fee is, any park you go to is free. And walking the park, so, we got
I think there's just a difference in discussion. I think Commissioner Tile is referring not to parks when he says that he's referring to the programs that we offer. Yeah, I think that was the only difference. And that, I don't think, not being argumentative at all. No, we're not saying parks or programs, we're referring to parks and programs. And I think what Commissioner Polling's saying is, we do have a subsidy for our parks, or for our programs. We try not to subsidize our programs. But unfortunately, we don't have any subsidy when it comes to our parks, and that's where our tax base does support. Most of our operations goes back into our parks, not our program side of things. So we are ultimately, when a taxpayer says, what do I get for my taxes? A lot of it is the parkland that we keep maintained, that we develop, that we keep improving, and the other aspects that go into the park operations, not the programs. We try to make sure our programs, when we're writing our recreation aspect of the budget, are self-sufficient or gain a surplus that can also go back to the overall betterment of the entire park district's operation.
The other thing is, what are you guys doing to increase revenue besides raising taxes?
Like program revenue, are you referring to, or other methods?
Or
alternative
other methods, all methods.
We are constantly working with our sponsorship program to continue trying to seek out. Now, does it say it's always successful? No. But one of the things that we have been working with, and I know you, Commissioner Stein, you had just requested Amanda to be look for events. We try to package some of our stuff together. What we're trying to do as we move forward is we're not seeing a lot of people back that we had 5-10 years ago that would do single event sponsorships. Like our local businesses don't have the extra funds that they want to sponsor, so we have to go after bigger sponsors. One of the things we've been trying to work towards is use Edwards Hospital, for example. We've been trying to package various aspects that would Edwards want to be a larger size sponsor as opposed to the $500 sponsor. Do they want to be a $5,000 exclusive sponsor? So we have been working towards contacts of that measure. Now, can we guarantee the success or failure of those? No, because that all depends on whether they want to enter into an agreement with us or not. Additionally, some of the other things we're looking at is we're trying to increase our rental aspect, which isn't a program-related thing, but it is a user-related thing. So one of the focuses that we've tried to do over the last year, and actually it's kind of ironic Andy's sitting in this meeting, Andy's been the recreation manager who's been put over the facilities, is how can we get out there and market our facility space that we have for rental capabilities greater? Because we have availability, especially like just this facility alone since we've taken over management. How can we capitalize more on the rental opportunity that will increase capital coming down? So we are working towards aspects of that nature.
What about looking into billboards? I see
We-
the city of Joliet is
I don't
starting
disagree.
to pop up all those billboards.
We met with
all
two
over.
companies probably about 4 to 5 months back. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten a proposal, I want to say probably about 2009, 2010, of certain areas that they would look at, that they offered opportunity for billboard. When we researched them, there's restrictions on some of those properties because of where they fall, that the billboard company that actually came in and talked to us, the one that was willing, said we wouldn't want to do it because we couldn't utilize all the land. So we have looked at other ways of we have investigated other measures of looking into, is somebody else interested in some of our land? So we did look at the billboard aspect. We've also inquired with various cellular companies about possibility of cell tower locations. If they're looking at spots, do we have any that are attractive to them? So we are putting the feelers out.
Yeah, you're talking about the billboards, like the big billboards.
Yes.
No, what about the small ones, like the city of Chicago, I mean.
Oh, you mean like what
the city of
Bolingbrook has?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
one that hit all of those corners.
The guy who we met for the large billboards also does that, but he's meeting with Plainfield on some of their key locations for that, because how Plainfield, I believe, has one scheduled to go up on the south end of town in the near future. So we did discuss. One of the things that does hinder us a bit is where our properties sit. We don't have prime location properties that some of these, they would be looking, they'd be looking for like a prime location property to be 59 and Lockport. So we don't have a intersection there, like the library's billboard right there is a good location, or the corner there. So they're looking at key entry, and one of the things they said, key entry point avenues of the village, key locations. We have minimal key locations. I mean, but it's not that we're not continuing seeking out. If we find something, we'll be more than happy to work at it further, but we just don't have an abundance of them.
Yeah, instead of going to the vendor, I mean, we can try to.
Doing it ourselves?
Not do it ourselves, like, you know, Four Seasons would be one of the parks that I would put a billboard on. And you have a lot of people going to that location, and you can put one of those small billboards.
And that's a reasonable location. And I'm sorry. One of the things I had stated is I want to, with capital development, I want to start talking about Four Seasons as things that need to happen at Four Seasons in the near future, and that's something we consider as we're moving forward to.
What about message boards on our company vehicles? They're out there on the streets all the time, and
That's
they even
message, like, I don't think we want to turn our, I don't know if we want to turn our vehicles into global advertisements unless the board's philosophy wants to take us that way.
well, I'm just saying, they're all looking for revenue, so
I'm just giving my opinion, but I mean, if the board's direction is we'd like to start doing that, I'd be more than happy to research.
You got RTA,
that aspect as well.
page buses and so forth.
That would be a board, I guess that would be more board philosophy. Do we want to, what do we want to advertise out? And I'm comfortable with whatever
I'm
else.
saying, being selected on your advertisement, but.
Well, we do have advertisement
bring
per
revenue.
hour. Right now, like we don't advertise the local bar on our baseball diamond.
Gotcha.
But we have, like, that was something we started putting out there last year. I believe we only had one taker, a banner program on our fences out at the fields, is how can we start selling some banners? So we did a compromise, like baseball was, or PAC was advertising certain fields and we were advertising certain fields, so that some of the revenue coming in would be towards us as well.
Another question too on our brochures, so what about a little, add your advertisement here, or?
In our actual brochures?
Right.
We do a lot of advertising in our
I'm just
brochures.
saying, is that, also we have the other options to look at, for advertising.
So I hope that answers your question, that we are seeking alternative revenues. It's a matter of how much actually comes back is our struggle sometimes.
Any other discussion? If not, I'm roll call.
Pierce?
Yes.
Newton? Yes. Hurtado? No. Casmark?
Yes.
Poling? Yes. Steines?
You.
Newman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next is item B, Resolution 2016-01, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an amended 457 plan.
I'm gonna hand this for Maureen for explanation.
So we, the district offers a 457 plan, which is a deferred compensation program that employees can voluntarily elect to take money out of their paychecks on a tax-deferred basis. So our plan administrator sent us documents basically to keep us in compliance with IRS regulations because it is section 457 of the IRS code. So they mailed them to us last week, and they're asking for adoption just to make sure we're updated with everything.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, there's no part district mentioned, right?
Correct. It's strictly employee voluntary deduction.
Thank you, Maureen. Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve Resolution 2016-01, approving and authorizing the execution of an amended 457 plan?
So moved.
Second.
A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Is there any discussion? None? Okay, roll call.
Furtado? Stein?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Casmar?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Rudman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is item C, the fund balance net assets policy.
One of the things that was identified, when we used to do our budget in as of July 1, we used to use our silent income taxes, as they would come in, our tax collection at the first installment, so that'd come in like around May, June. We would kind of ignore its existence, and this is kind of the best way to explain it. We'd ignore its existence and use it as our so-called fund balance policy, so we wouldn't count it into the fund total when we were doing our budget, so it was kind of a nondescript fund balance. Now that we've moved to December 31st close of the year, January 1 start, we need a formal fund balance policy that we always want to be set with when we start off our fiscal year. And one of the things that also came back as we moved to our auditors, Lauterbach and Amon, was we needed a fund balance policy. We had nothing in place. While we had a practice in which we were adhering to, we never had a formal policy. So this is kind of adhering to those requirements as we move forward.
Thank you. Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve the fund balance net assets policy as presented?
Second.
And that all other policies or parts of policies in conflict with this policy are hereby retained?
exactly right.
A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Furtado? Stein?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Casmar?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Rudman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is item D, ordinance 2016-02, an ordinance authorizing the disposal or sale of district-owned personal property.
One of the things, any of our assets, as we're moving them from our inventory, some of these have already been previously replaced. We just want to get the board's formal approval before we actually take them out for sale. Our sale, donation, trade-in, dismantle, or destroy. One of the things we've also added to this is some things that have been put on the capital plan for this year. We're preempting the release of assets, so at the point we do the swap, we can take care of whether we're trading it in or whether we're scrapping it or selling it off, etc.
Thank you. Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve ordinance 2016-02, an ordinance authorizing the sale and/or disposal of Park District-owned personal property?
Second.
A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtados and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, on all those HP list, why do we have a mark as a destroy versus donated, seller?
We can change that to donation. I mean, the only thing they would recommend is in our IT company, is if we're going to donate it, one of the reasons they say destroy is because we destroy the hard drive. That was what they considered destroy. Now we can donate the remainder of the housing.
Yeah, I
Beyond.
believe what,
And we have what we refer to destroying is the hard drive. And right now, with most of this material, we can't actually destroy it anyway by law. At this point, you'd have to recycle it. Our destroy it is the hard drive itself, because we don't want that kind of information to ever become privy. So yeah, the casing of the units will be donated or recycled. So we can donate. We can look at a donation.
Can we amend this to do all the stuff we donated versus?
You're just talking about the desktops.
Yeah, I'm talking about the desktop, right.
Can we if it's okay, can we just stay with a B and D? Just add B to everything, so that we know we're destroying all the hard drives. That's the piece that we want to definitely define that we are destroying.
Well, you can specify that too.
That's what I'm saying, so just keep it at B/E, and then we'll donate the casings, but we're destroying the hard drives. Is that comfort?
Okay, and the other side of the page, we're looking at, the different pieces of equipment. What type of equipment are we looking at? This 1840 gas, John Deere, 4100, whatever the Howard is, 180, and Jacobson's 9016. You have two of them.
They're all mowers.
What type of equipment is that?
Mowers.
I'm sorry?
Mowers.
All mowers?
Correct.
Okay.
Some of the mowers, in all honesty, I think I want to say possibly the case is a skidster. This is the one we replaced a month ago. So we're going to use the skidster we currently have till it no longer functions. So we're gonna keep using it, we have the replacement on hand, but we're gonna continue, what we're saying with the skid steer is, if at the point it no longer functions, then we're able to trade it in.
Okay, my
With the-
question is, why is it on the disposal list, there's not due?
Because it's no longer an asset for us. We're still
If
using
we're still using it, it's still assets.
No, we're not considered an asset, so if it were to be destroyed, we wouldn't claim it as property. It has no reusable value to it. We're just using it until its life cycle completely stops. Which, at the time we're at the point we're at now, we can't really gauge when that exactly will be. It could be tomorrow, it could go on for another year. It's past its usable life cycle.
I understand that. You're still using it, that's what I'm saying. You know, I can see, you know, coming back on a sheet when it's, broke down, it's just, you know, not functioning, just working.
Right, but we're not, but this mainly, it doesn't always mean we have to get rid of it, it just takes it off our asset list. We're not counting it as part of our assets.
So what's the plan to sell those?
We would, several of these pieces, depending on their price, we would go to auction.
No, so we could do all of them.
Governmental auction.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes. Foley? Stein?
Yes.
Yes. Next is item 8, finance management software.
Currently, the district uses MSI Municipal Software Inc. Where that is reps for Harris Products. About a year ago, the district received notice that at this time MSI was being discontinued. They were no longer. Harris would continue servicing the product, but there would no longer be any updates or improvements made to the product. So those services, as long as they can, basically until its life cycle runs out, or they can no longer fix any of the bugs, but there would be no longer amendments made to the program. So us, like many other districts, have been seeking out another software. Two of them, the three top ones you see were the three more popular ones that most districts were moving to: BSNA, Encode, and Smart Fusion. Springbrook was a late addition to it, in which Harris brought that product out as one of the replacements to MSI. Through the staff's research and working on a lot of the different, or doing a lot of trials and tutorials with the products, they came to the recommendation of the Encode by Tyler Technologies. If there's on specific questions on the product after we make the motion, I'm sure Maureen can handle that a little bit better than I can. It's her team sitting in a lot of information tutorial meetings with the companies.
Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners authorize the executive director to execute the contract to purchase Encode financial software upon review and revision by district council? At a cost of $120,000. Motion's been made by Commissioner Ayers and seconded by Commissioner Newton. Any discussion?
On the second page, it talks about estimated travel expense of $21,000. Are those going to be pre-approved by Park District 4? Is there any maximum that's going to be considered?
That is what they're estimating. More than likely, I spoke to the sales rep, more than likely it'll be less than that. But we wanted to make sure that we had the higher amount so that we know potentially.
And are those expenses going to have to be pre-approved?
Oh, the travel expenses?
They're part of the $120,000.
I was just saying, it's part of that. Are they going to have to say, okay, we're going to come out this week? And
Oh, you mean by on our, yes.
Yes.
And then my other question was, because I know that the existing software right now does not have the functionality, does this have any export features? So that you can
Yes.
push in different
Yes.
software, like Excel or something?
Yes, it actually, you don't even have to export it to Excel. It will display in Excel in the software, just by hitting a button. You don't even have to go into Excel. It's like seamless.
So you have to add on if you sits there, interfaces it, nice.
We're all out there waking up.
I had one question, just pertaining to that, Tyler, Luann, I think the unlimited courses. Is that free training specifically just for the software, or I saw that there was some like government compliance courses that was.
I know I'm a little late.
what that is after you go through the initial training, they have, it's basically like a help button if you're in a normal software, but instead of just having to Google or searching your question, they have videos, and that's what the Tyler U is. They actually have videos of how to do certain things, so they